Hi everyone, this is Eagle News. I'm David Oria in Washington. It's Saturday, February 18th, 2023, here in the nation's capital. This week's recap begins with teenage girls here in the United States experiencing record high levels of sadness and violence. The number increased alarmingly in 2021. Health authorities are calling on schools to help in the crisis. Rosel Feria reports.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, releases new data revealing that nearly 3 in 5 U.S. teen girls felt persistently sad or hopeless in 2021. This number is double that of boys. CDC says this represents a nearly 60% increase and the highest level reported over the past decade. The analysis includes 2021 data and trends from the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which examines health behaviors and experiences among U.S. high school students. CDC says youth mental health has continued to worsen, with particularly stark increases in widespread reports of harmful experiences among teen girls. Some alarming details in the report include nearly 1 in 3 seriously considered attempting suicide, 1 in 5 experienced sexual violence in the past year, more than 1 in 10 had ever been forced to have sex. Findings by race and ethnicity also show high and worsening levels of persistent sadness or hopelessness across all racial and ethnic groups. Reported suicide attempts increased among Black youth and white youth. CDC underscores the profound difference school-based activities can make in the lives of teens with a relatively small infusion of support to schools. CDC says young people are experiencing a level of distress that calls on us to act with urgency and compassion. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline if you are experiencing mental health-related distress or are worried about a loved one who may need crisis support. Rosel Feria, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In Canada, despite heightened security on Toronto's public transits, another violent incident happened at one of the city's subway stations. Joshua Santillana tells us more.
This past weekend, Toronto saw another violent incident happening aboard its public transit. A woman was slashed across the face at Spadina subway station. Last Sunday, a woman and 3 other individuals, 2 male and 1 female, were in a verbal dispute. According to the investigation, they did not know each other. One of the suspects allegedly spat in the woman's face and repeatedly pushed her. The male suspect then took a knife and slashed the woman in her face, causing facial injuries. Toronto police have released this image of one of the suspects. An arrest has been made on Monday of all 3 young persons. Upon arrest, one of the suspects swung a machete at the officer. These past few weeks have seen an increase of violence on Toronto's public transit, or the TTC. Since January of this year, more than 10 violent incidents have happened on Toronto buses and subway trains. Joshua Santillana, Toronto, Ontario. Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The relationship between the White House and Tesla owner Elon Musk has seen its share of bumps in the road. The billionaire, however, is on board with the White House's plan to extend the U.S. electric vehicle charging network. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui has the details.
U.S. President Joe Biden's plan to build a network of electric vehicle chargers takes a significant step in the right direction. The White House announces a deal with electric vehicle giant Tesla. For the first time, the car maker will open a portion of its vehicle charging network to non-Tesla EVs. This step makes at least 7,500 chargers available for all EVs by the end of 2024. The Biden administration aims to have 500,000 charging stations across the U.S. by 2030. The ambitious plan also includes having EVs make up at least 50% of new car sales by that same year. A recent survey of EV users reported frustration with chargers that are too slow, too crowded, or that just don't work. Having available chargers along U.S. highways in places like hotels, restaurants, and even in rural areas aims to ease driver fears of being stuck on the road. Currently, Tesla owners can purchase an adapter to charge at non-Tesla EV stations. Other brands, however, are not able to do the same at Tesla stations. The White House also announces commitments from other leading companies such as BP, Hertz, General Motors, and ChargePoint. Anna Cui, Las Vegas, Nevada, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
With electric and hybrid vehicles establishing a footing in the car market, buyers have more choices when looking for their next new or used ride. So how do consumers' opinions of electric vehicles stack up against traditional gas engine cars? In Los Angeles, California, Eva Basalnyaje poses this question to a gathering of car buffs. Take a look.
Behind me, Ford is showing off a few cars from its electric fleet. We wanted to know how drivers felt about electric versus traditional gas-powered vehicles.
I might be slightly biased. I'm an environmental consultant, and I do a lot of consulting for companies that are moving towards fully electric vehicles and things of that sort. And I really think it's the way to go, and for the environment and the resources that we have, I feel that fuel-powered cars are rather archaic, and the push towards electric vehicles is much wanted on my behalf, and I'm excited for the push.
I think the way to go is definitely going to be hybrid. I don't think that we are set up our infrastructure-wise to support all electric. I think it takes way too long to charge, and I don't think any city is going to be ready within the next 20, 30 years. So I think hybrid's going to be the way to go, gas and electric.
Electric vehicles are great. I'm really happy that they're going to be saving our environment. I look forward to the new future with it. I would like to see that we are getting rid of some of the smog that's in our area, especially in Los Angeles. So whatever we could do to help save our environment and preserve our beautiful area would be great.
I'm definitely a big fan of electric cars, and I think that they have a solid future for our country. I think there's still some problems that need to get worked out, such as just being able to do long road trips. I just drove from South Carolina to Los Angeles, and I don't know if that would be quite as possible with an electric car. People who are living in a general area for, I feel like, day-to-day travel, it's really, really a good option. It's good for the environment. It's economically friendly. So I think it's definitely a big part of the future here.
I think the people that want to drive electric cars, they just can't. They can't afford them right now. It's geared more towards like upper class. And that's going to be another reason why I think it takes a really long time for electric cars to really dominate the market. They need to be more affordable for sure.
I think they're a little pricey right now, so hopefully we see some changes with the price of the electric vehicles. I'm excited to see how sporty that they're coming out with, all the new advancements that are going to be coming soon, and I hope to have an electric vehicle myself.
If top speed and acceleration are a concern, a spokesperson from Ford assures us that performance-wise, electric cars are comparable to any vehicles on the market. Eva Basayahe, Los Angeles, California, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Several stories from Thomas Likeness today. We have eco-friendly houses being built in Hungary, to undercover shoppers in Argentina, to bullfighting in Colombia coming to an end. These and more on Correspondent at Large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. When it comes to building eco-friendly houses, old is new, at least in Hungary. There, mud and straw houses are making a comeback. You know, these kind of structures used to be the old-fashioned symbol of grinding poverty. You built one of these because you couldn't afford anything else. Now, though, they're a low-cost alternative to concrete, and they're also eco-friendly. They leave no waste behind. There's no unfriendly byproducts from these building materials. You know, concrete accounts for about 8% of global carbon dioxide emissions. Mud and straw houses, well, they're fireproof. Yep, fireproof, non-toxic. And the other advantage is these buildings are naturally warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And with rising energy costs, this type of construction is now becoming attractive, and a lot of people want them. Master builder Janis Gaspar says he just can't keep up with the demand. Says he's booked for the next 3 years. Well, you might call these shoppers in Argentina the sticker price police. This brigade of unofficial, eagle-eyed undercover agents are snooping around supermarkets, checking to see if stores are complying with price limits. Argentina is grappling with record high inflation, nearly 95% last year. The government has stepped in and launched a Fair Prices program. Now, this program limits monthly price increases for some 2,000 essential products to just 3.2%. We're talking about things like food, medicines, items like soap, clothing, shoes, school gear. But the program is voluntary. Now, those who do sign up and don't comply with the limits risk fines of up to $370,000. All of the major supermarket chains have joined, but a lot of independents, they stay outside of it. Now, to make sure retailers aren't gouging people, these sneaky shoppers roam the aisles of supermarkets in Buenos Aires. They covertly photograph price tags and submit violations to an activist group, which in turn publishes their findings. Despite their efforts, though, in January, inflation stood at, are you sitting down? In January, inflation stood at 99% compared to the same month a year ago. Even the government agrees inflation is the biggest poverty factor in Argentina. In Israel, robots have been deployed to speed up online shopping, and they pose a threat to conventional supermarkets. Automatons like these operate in mini warehouses. They pick orders for people who shop online. In the back rooms, where no one can see them, the robots toil away, dropping items into bags. The bags are then placed in a street-side hatch for delivery people and shoppers to pick up. Now, how does this pose a threat to traditional grocery stores? Well, one proponent says people will start to change their shopping habits. He says there's no reason to shop weekly, get everything all at once when you can just order a few items a few times a day and get them within 10 minutes. Kind of shop when you think about it. Brings new meaning to the term convenience store. And what could possibly go wrong at this event? It's an amateur bullfighting contest in Colombia. It's called Corraleja. At this particular event, wealthy ranchers loaned the organizers 58 bulls. Now, unlike Spanish bullfighting, the animals are not killed in the bloody battle. Hundreds of fans take part in the fun, if you can call it that. Just watch them here. They jump into the ring where a bull charges at them, chasing in all directions. But the good times may be coming to an end. Politicians from the left and environmentalists, they want to shut down the corralejas due to animal welfare concerns. I'll be back in 7 days, and in the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In Papua New Guinea, the Prime Minister calls on the country's media organizations to stay true to their duty as responsible journalists. Echo Ortaleza Quinola reports on this week's Oceania at a Glance.
Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister Honorable James Marape urges media organizations to deliver news responsibly. He expresses full support of the freedom of the media as enshrined in the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. However, he calls the attention of media practitioners to report news responsibly and not to dwell on hearsay or own opinions. The Prime Minister says the influx of fake news will not lead the citizens to correct knowledge and directions.
I call upon all in the media fraternity. This is a big need in the world of real-time information transactions. Sometimes truth and correct information comes at the back of all the hearsays that runs fast. This country needs correct information that lifts our people, encourages our people, points our people to the right directions. If they're asking for answers, provide answers for them. And if you don't have answers, then ask those of us who have answers. Government should have almost all answers for every need of our society, and I bring to you a full commitment of government again, whether it's unemployment, or whether it's education, or whether it's business, or whether it's economy, or whether it's health, Government should have all answers, even if it is not 100% satisfactory, but answers to what is happening and what will happen is government's business. We look forward to partnering you in the media to ensure our people are better informed. And of course, the media too. It is your responsibility to correctly hold all of us accountable, especially those of us who've been mandated to do work for our people.
Prime Minister Marape furthermore asks media organizations to not lose sight or focus and to be the beacon of correct information for the nation.
Let us not take our democracy for granted. Let us not take our union for granted. As generations of leadership, not just at the Prime Minister level or Minister's level, but all of us, holding the power of correct information, holding the power of leadership in the various strata of society we are engaged in. It is incumbent on all of us to ensure we inform, we communicate, and we shape a better country so that when our time is up, we have passed on a better PNG to our children's generation.
True and fair reporting defines responsible journalism. Echo Hortaleza sa Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Long COVID in young people now has a new meaning as issued by the WHO. Arlene Ocampo tells us more on Health as Wealth.
The World Health Organization releases a new clinical case definition for post-COVID-19 condition or long COVID in children and adolescents. WHO says children and adolescents are more likely to have few or no symptoms or develop mild illness after being infected with COVID-19. Thus, the symptoms they experience in the post-acute period and their impact may differ. Children with post-COVID-19 condition are more likely to experience the following compared to healthy children: fatigue, altered smell, and anxiety. For both adults and children, how long the symptoms last for and how soon after the initial infection they start are common in the two definitions. The new definition is based on the latest scientific data and was developed through an expert consensus process. It involves the involvement of patient advocates and clinicians. Part of the new definition says that COVID-19 condition in children and adolescents occurs in individuals with a history of confirmed or probable SARS-CoV-2 infection when experiencing symptoms lasting at least 2 months, which initially occurred within 3 months of acute COVID-19. Arlene Ocampo, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
NASCAR races are known for delivering thrilling motorsports action. But even before drivers start their engines, fans can enjoy a variety of experiences both on the ground and in the virtual skyway. From a NASCAR fan event in Los Angeles, California, here are Ava and Alan Basalnyahe on EBC Sports International.
Ahead of any NASCAR race is the always favorite fan event.
And being NASCAR, speed is on full display, whether it's fast cars or fast fighter jets.
Here you can experience in-flight refueling, which basically it is a job that we offer where you are controlling the boom from one aircraft to another. It's how they get gas, especially when they're making the jump from the States to Europe or something like that. And we also have a flight simulator where you can fly an F-35, kind of get an idea of what it feels like to be basically in the seat.
We were able to go in and do some VR and virtual simulations of in-flight refueling. And it was really interesting, a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. It made me have a greater appreciation for the Air Force.
Very realistic. It's a lot harder using the stick than just using buttons, but it was definitely awesome and cool.
For speed at lower altitudes, there were plenty of fast cars that fans could get up close to.
Right behind me, what everybody loves, the new Corvette. You can see everybody back here. They love the Corvette. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. The Corvette is cool. There's a lot going on here at Team Chevy. We brought out the cars, trucks, SUVs, crossovers. You don't want to miss that. but we're also giving away the super sweet, one-of-a-kind special edition Team Chevy t-shirts. There is young kids here, there's older people here. It's a family atmosphere, and that's so cool.
I haven't seen a NASCAR race yet in my life, and I got the opportunity to come to this fan experience. I think the energy here is amazing. You know, fans are moving, music is going. Seems like everybody's pretty stoked to be out here, and I am as well.
First-timers to NASCAR are looking forward to a high-octane, edge-of-your-seat experience.
Because while watching from home is fine, nothing beats the roar and rumble of in-person motorsports.
Eva and Alan, Los Angeles, California. Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Up next, every week we try to hit the streets with a trending topic to give you a chance to tell us what you think. This week, we wanted to get your feedback on the phenomenon of people canceling out or boycotting celebrities or brands for reasons they find offensive. The results were eye-opening for sure. Cancel culture. Is it trending up or trending out? You be the judge.
Social media has changed almost everything. How we express ourselves, how we take in news, and more importantly, how we treat one another. Cancel culture is not a new concept. So why is it so trendy? And what do people really think about it?
I feel like cancel culture is just our generation being weak, to be honest. There's a lot of things that people need to learn that they have no say in.
I don't really want to involve myself in it. I don't want to get caught in it.
People just want to be heard.
We have a new generation of, young people who are more willing to say, hey, this behavior is not acceptable.
There's a benefit and a harm to cancel culture. I think that the benefit is that you calling out somebody could open their eyes and allow them to be more aware of themselves.
I've seen what cancel culture has done to people.
Other people and celebrities and stuff have to be aware what they're saying constantly because there's going to be a certain demographic that feels one way about it and another demographic that feels another.
I just think cancel culture can be very hypocritical and that we could do a better job of educating people in their wrongdoing and not using shame and guilt to teach people.
You can't really be a comedian nowadays because you can't really say anything.
I really think people are just a little too sensitive.
We hold people accountable, but in the wrong way.
We can all be heard, but why impose your opinions or beliefs on other people?
I've never been canceled before, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad.
I think it's a bad thing.
In today's world, I don't believe that you have really the freedom of speech.
Scary thought, right? But has cancel culture really changed how people express themselves?
Nah.
I'm gonna be honest and say that cancel culture has affected the way that I portray myself in person and online.
Because now you have to be careful about your opinions and what you say and stuff.
You want to be a little bit more politically correct with a lot of things that you say.
A lot of people are afraid to be themselves just so that they don't get canceled and so they can fit in.
I definitely think I'm a lot more aware and cautious of what I say.
Actually, it has. You got to be more cautious what you say online, for real. Because, I've always been cautious, but you got to be more cautious nowadays. People are too sensitive.
Cancel culture has influenced me to be better.
So it looks like cancel culture has led to both good and not so good changes. What can we do to improve the good and get rid of the bad?
I definitely think that we should be calling people out on their bad behavior.
I could just say everyone should mind their own business, and we'd all be at peace.
If someone's being harassed or experiencing racism, why aren't we speaking up and speaking out in that very moment instead of holding up our iPhone and then posting the video on YouTube?
You should never just shut somebody down, tell them they're wrong, tell them they're an awful human being.
We should make sure that there's a lot of evidence around whatever is going along with that person before we dive into cancel culture.
Cancel culture can't just be about getting on Twitter later and talking about it and calling someone out on their Instagram. We need to be active and present in the moment and educate people in the moment about what they're doing wrong, not shaming them later.
Openly talk about how, what you did was wrong and try to see their side of the story and just go off of that and see what you can do to really improve a person, because that's all we want for everybody, is for them to be the best version of themselves.
I think people just need to stop. Everyone needs to worry about themselves and leave other people alone. People get paid to do things. People get paid to lie and say certain things, and that's just how the way like the world works. Like people need to make money somehow, and if that's how you make money, that's how you make money.
We're all in the same world, we're all human, and everyone's entitled to their opinions.
I think forgiveness is a really big thing that people should be a lot more open to. It can bring so much more joy into the world. It can definitely teach people a lot more things, because if we forgive, we can see a person grow instead of canceling them, taking them out, and they're just done. Like how will they grow if you don't give them a chance to grow?
Words of wisdom to consider. Now, we heard most of those surveyed say that they were more cautious in their actions. But interestingly enough, we learned that some young people have taken a different approach to the whole social media cancel culture lifestyle.
Right now, without social media, I love it. I truly do love it. Actually, a lot of my other friends started going off of social media. They completely cut out social media. I still think that social media is a great way to communicate with people, but I don't scroll through it. I don't actively keep up with people, just because it's better to be in the moment and to learn more in the moment. I always choose to have a very small group of people so that then I can be as comfortable as I can with them, and because I trust them. I'm close to every single one of my friends. I only have probably 3 really good friends, and I just know that we don't have to talk every single day, but then if we ever come back together, we'll always know we're the closest to each other.
Whether seen as a positive or negative force, cancel culture is probably here to stay. So it's important for each of us to be mindful of the effects our choices will have in our lives and in our society as a whole. Alaysa Orbase, Phoenix, Arizona, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Before we let you go, here's our photo of the week by JC Yumo. A great way for drivers to rest is to take in the magnificent view along the Trans-CanadaHighway in Banff, Alberta, Canada. Thank you all for joining us again. If there are stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, share our other shows. City Limits with Alan Balsayahe. Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Cui. Plate Date with Mike Hudson and Friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I'm David Oria. We live in extraordinary times. Stay safe, everyone.